Nishith Desai Associates at their facility Ali Gunjan, the famous Imaginarium, which has caught the fancy of the whole legal profession, and it's always talked about as something to look forward to. It is a pleasure to host you, Mr. Nishith Desai and Mr. Milind Mundankar. Mr. Nishith Desai is the founder of Nishith Desai Associates, the firm that has set the precedents in the legal profession. The firm, which is known as the one of the best law firms in the country when it comes to research and innovation, and it has won the awards for the most innovative firm in the Asia 4 years in a row. Mr. Nishith Desai is known as the father of the international tax in India. And if we talk about the firm, the less that's it is more. When it comes to the setting of the precedents, the legal profession is something that is run by precedents. But when we're talking about Nishith Desai Associates, we believe that this is the firm that has been starting the setting of the precedents. And we have with us Mr. Milind Mundankar, who's the Chief Technology Officer and the man behind implementing the vision of Mr. Nishith Desai. It is like he's the CPO of the CPOs of the law firms. The firm had Mr. Milind as the CTO at the time, ever since the time when the technology was not even considered something that is required by law firms. And the firm has been at the forefront in terms of implementing the technology. I would say rather imagining how technology can change the legal profession and how it can make it better, smarter.
Thank you both of you, sir, for having us here. And it was a fantastic experience going around this beautiful campus. And actually at the same time realizing that knowledge, how to go from data to information to knowledge and finally to wisdom is actually a vision. And this is where we are today is a manifestation of that. Thank you for having us here.
Welcome.
We would like to hear from them how they look at the legal profession from a technological lens. And here we are going to discuss the how the technology will shape the legal profession in the months to come and in the years to come, and how the firm has successfully done it. Whereas other firms are still running the brick and mortar and paper model, the firm Nishith Desai Associates is already working on the cloud.
So I think the way in which I look at right from the beginning, we had a vision of being a nano firm. That means stay small, think big and do big. So almost all the thing in cross-border we have done, all the kind of transactions we have done are large, huge transactions, litigations, most redefining or defining judgments have come from our firm. Number of things that we have done based on the philosophy that it's not about head count, but about brain count. So we are very clear. 30 years ago, I studied over 100 professional firms around the world, including law firms, accounting firms, consulting firms, and learned a lot from those firms. And when in 1990, I decided to set up a law firm. I'm a counsel. I'm a litigator originally. By the way, this is my 52nd year of legal practice. I did my law in 1973. Okay, started as an employment lawyer, then went into tax for God knows what reason, but somehow ended up I hated tax, which became my most favorite subject. Is love-hate relationship sometime, you know. And nafrat se pyar ho jata hai na. So like that. So that's how the whole journey started. But when I specialized globalization, I did my master's in 1977 in international business law and globalization and all those things. There's no takeoff from my work here much. So I started lecturing around the world, writing, talking, etc. And then 1981, whole practice grew from US with Bechtel as my first international client, which is a well-known client. And then, of course, most of the practice began to grow in the US with the Levi Strauss and the Clorox company and the DuPont and all the Wall Street firms. So everything grew in the US first 10 years of my international practice, okay? And and the head of the managing director of Bear Stearns, the investment banking firm which died under the Lehman crisis.
Right.
He told me, Nishith, why don't you set up a law firm? I said, why should I set up a law firm? I'm a counsel, I'm a litigator. I don't set up a law firm in India. We don't do that. And in the process, after some persuasion, I thought, let me study how these professional firms are managed, how they are behaving, what they do, blah, blah, blah. And after 4.5 years of studies of all these law firms, and I interviewed a lot of partners and managing partners and other people in the organization and set up this firm. But I said, if I want to set up one more law firm on the street, why should I do it? There are too many of them. Okay, then after long thinking, idea came up that, a philosophy came up that if most of the law firms I saw were stuck in the present or in the past cases,
right,
which of course is important for bread and butter. But I think where I can differentiate is to look to the future and build whole firm on that. So we are not competing with anybody, but become complementary to the law firms. So we believe in competition, cooperate and compete. Okay, so philosophy came up that every new technology, every new business model, every new social, political, economic development brings along with it a new strategic, legal, tax or ethical issue. So I said, why not look to the future, start thinking about it now, so when time comes they are future ready. Not only we are future ready, but we make our clients future ready. Not only in terms of technology, but also in terms of governance, in terms of other kind of things, they have to prepare for it, right? So that's how this whole idea of a futuristic firm came up. But I also found out in my own way that, it is not about, as I said, about head count. It's about brain count. We are dealing with human beings, not machines, right? And therefore, right from beginning, I said, I want to enjoy, I want to be happy with whatever little I do, rather than just getting into the commercial mindset and just going after money and all the thing. Nothing wrong with anybody. I'm not being judgmental here, but it's my philosophy that anything we do, happiness is the decision-making criteria. So even if you see end line of our presentation most of the time is our limit to growth is where our happiness ends.
Right.
Okay, so that allows us to work with clients whom we are happy, areas of practice in which we are happy, or people around we are happy, and all that kind of thing. So the whole philosophy was to look to the future, be future ready, and start working on that. Okay.
Sir, that's an interesting observation. So when you said that you don't, so it's not head count, but the brain count that matters.
Yeah.
But ultimately there is one brain in a human being and you are a lean firm. How did you manage to get a higher brain count with the same man?
See, technology is the greatest social leveler. Okay. And I believe that, there are two ways to grow. One is to become bigger and bigger and bigger like an elephant.
Okay.
If anybody comes your way, and you can trash it, right? And that's one way to become powerful and influencer or impact creator, right? Second is to become smaller and smaller and smaller like an atom. It can blow up the whole world.
Right.
So atomic energy is more important or physical energy is more important. Okay. So I was very clear in my mind, I don't want to be too big. We'll be very selective and we'll be very emotionally connected.
Right.
Idea is to enable people. There is no dearth of talent at all. Okay. There is a dearth of organizations which can nurture the talent. That is what is our philosophy. And we want to make our people lifetime employable, whether they work with us or elsewhere. We want our competitors, so-called competitors, enabled. So we put all the research work in public domain. Okay. Every single law firm, at least that's what I'm told, I don't know, uses our research reports. Every single student uses our research report in the remotest area of the country and the world. Okay. Every organization, generally we have become, knowledge center, not only for our firm, but also for everybody around. Right. Because that makes world a little happier. When you share knowledge, it's more exciting than trying to keep it to yourself. So we try to enable everybody around. you are never successful unless you make two other people successful. That's sort of philosophy. Okay, so in that spirit, this whole firm has been set up, and we think we have to enjoy whatever little we do.
Now I'll ask Milind that this vision of how to keep people, the headcount limited, but at the same time make the whole technology work and facilitate, be an enabler, etc. So you are there as the one who built it. What has been your experience building it?
So, Nishith Bhai said, so Nishith Bhai was always passionate about technology right from the beginning.
Okay.
And his this vision where, you equip each individual with technology, and with the help of which that each individual can deliver the 10x of whatever the capacity is,
Okay.
That's something gave us a lot of boost in building the technology, the platforms. Right from the beginning, he always used to encourage, motivate in exploring, experimenting in the technology platforms also. Like it was, I worked in the corporates earlier as well, where, there is always a ROI to everything else.
Right.
There's always a budget to the technology that is given for deployment. Whereas whenever we used to have brainstorming with respect to the technology, it was always like failing is a part of it, So just experiment, just explore. Let's go to whatever level that we can, and let's try to build something innovatively when we are deploying the platforms. And that's exactly was when that there is no fear of failing, that gives you a bigger boundaries of exploring, experimenting something and going beyond your own limitations, And that's exactly what motivated us in deploying technologies to an extent where even initially when we were a small team, all the encouragement and the motivation that we got, we kept exploring and going to levels where we first deployed the practice management software, which was not even available in India. It was a US product. And
What was this year, if I may ask? When did you started using the practice management software?
So this was in 1999.
Okay.
It was in 1999, 2000 that we first, prior to that, when the firms, it all began with, writing the time slips on a sheet of paper, which used to then get scanned, then get converted into an Excel format for the transparent billing system that we always used, and raising the bills and all those kind of stuff, which then later on graduated to having our own practice management software, which was in 1999 that we deployed a US product, and we used it for years together. I think 5-6 years that we used it. But right with that first practice management software, which was not even heard of in the legal fraternity, right? Coordinating with the US team, the US product company, troubleshooting, everything else was an experience in itself. And then using that as a product to generate all the MIS, do the data analysis and all this kind of stuff. That itself was the initial experience and the training that we got with respect to the practice management software. So whether it was a practice management software or then graduating to a higher level product in the practice management software itself, which was a Thomson Reuters products. So, it was like making your foundation strong when it came to any of these technology platforms, and then graduating to the next level. So we also, in the whole thing, we learned whether it was deploying our own data center in-house, or whether now graduating to a hybrid platform, cloud and our on-prem setup, or whether it was emailing setup, and all those latest products that we are now using it. It was like first learn the foundation, make your foundation strong, and then graduate to the next level. And while doing all these things, when it comes to the technology, having security and the backups, keeping a second line of things that was all paramount to implementing and deploying all the technologies, you know.
So listening to you, Milind, it's just like the first thought that comes to my mind is it's like a short, probably time compressed version of how something like this is built years over effort. But sir, what has been the experience of getting people's buy-in? For example, in a law firm, something which is a common barrier is that technology adoption happens slowly because either business becomes a focus or there's a resistance that technology might bring it. It may shake the ground a bit more than what is.
See, your whole philosophy of staying nano
Right.
really helped us to build a culture. Because if you have 1,000 people around, it's difficult to get the culture of technology. And the business model of law firms is so bizarre, that if we spend as a law firm more time doing client's job, if we put more people on the job, we are more rewarded. So tendency is to pad up the time, tendency is to fill up the slips and all the thing and then charge client. And that thing is now coming to an end with AI. Our mantra is that we want to do highest quality work in shortest possible time with smallest teams. So we done billions of dollars transaction with 3-4 people max.
Amazing.
Okay. So if you have 70, 80 people, it's equal to 300 or sometimes 500, whatever it is. And you can see that the amount of research we do, so almost 40% of a firm's time is spent on research, academics, thought leadership. And again, huge cost, not only time but money as well. But we give it everything free to the people. Okay. So it brings respectability, it brings some kind of a collaboration approach and excitement. Because when you share something, you only increase. When I share knowledge, I am only increasing my knowledge. It's not I'm losing something, right? So that kind of thing. And I personally feel that, it is not one person who does. My job, for example, is to do visualization. Okay, philosophy. For example, one philosophy we developed long ago in technology adoption, 90 to 95% of technology will never be used what you buy. It's only the 5% that gives you the return. How many features of computer you use? Correct? So you have courage to accept that 95%, 90% of the features will not be used, but still you go for that because one strong element will change the world. Right. Okay, so you have to have a second thing, right from day one, I told Milind, there is no budget. You go ahead and do it. My budget is only trust in you. Okay, and I know that you will fail time and again.
Right.
Okay, so number of times that will happen, but that whole psychology then gets developed. People get buy-in, and because one or two features help people, everybody begins to say, oh, this is great. Second thing, as I said, my job is philosophy, visualizing this is where we use technology, this is where we use technology, etc. And tell Milind to look into that. But we also have PhD in AIE. So whole model of the firm is just not lawyers. There are a number of people who have been from other fields and converted into lawyers, because lawyers' ethics and lawyers' profession needs to be understood. So we have Mr. Milind Mundankar, Dr. Milind Mundankar. He is a medical surgeon, top ranking. He was 13, 14 years in practice, and I told him to become a lawyer because we want to develop pharma, healthcare, nanotechnology, medical devices practice. Okay, he started law, finished law, for 20 years working together. Right. We have Mihir Parikh. He is PhD in AI, okay, and he is a futurist. So he tells us what are the likely things that are going to happen. So it's a combination of all. Vaibhav is again an electronics engineer turned lawyer. We have social scientists turned lawyers. We have MBAs turned lawyers. We have chartered accountants turned lawyers, right? So it's a zoo, little animal, but we are enjoying our wildlife,
If we talk about the legal profession in general today, you just said that you have doctors and MBAs and CAs working at your firm. And now that the Indian law firms are also waking up to the idea of incorporating legal tech into their systems, into their institutions, how do you see the composition of a law firm changing in the future in terms of the number of lawyers who are working there versus other professions?
Well, I feel that it depends on the philosophy of the organization. As I said, how much sacrifice are you willing to make to get into the future? As a 40% of firm's time as a whole. Every lawyer is expected to do research. Every lawyer is supposed to write. Everybody is supposed to do continuing education program. Okay? And visualization exercise. This exercise, there is no time, but about 40% of firm's time, if you have courage to do it, there will be many. But if you are worried about time and because my billing is going off, perhaps it's a different approach. And I am not being judgmental, I am not criticizing everybody. His approach, everybody is right in his own way. But we think we want to be happy. So when we see things being done, and wherever there is a problem, first thing I say, technology is the greatest solution to any problem.
Right.
So we look at technology, whether my problem can be solved or not. Okay, as we'll see, for example, we follow balanced scorecard, right? Now, having balanced scorecard, first of all, developing itself is a project, very highly specialized management, correct? What kind of balanced scorecard you develop? But once balanced scorecard is not a strategy, it is measurement tool, okay? So what cannot be measured cannot be managed. So you need to have measurement. Again, what kind of weightage you give to what activity? Number one. Number two, what kind of subjective issues come up? And even if you have all the reports ready, how much time do you have to read? Correct? So therefore, our agentic AI reads those reports and mentors the associate. So agentic AI is all about AI being your agent, like your partners or leaders or mentors. They are the agents of the firm, right? So they have to do the job, but how much time they have and do they do regularly on a timely basis? No, our AI gives performance evaluation to every single member of the firm every weekend with comment as to, okay, this needs to be done, that needs to be done. So we dismantle the hierarchical structure. We are flat organization, no titles, nothing of the sort, right? And everybody is same. Younger people are smarter than me. You know that better than I know. So we believe that technology is the greatest enabler, but the culture of using the technology is more important than telling people we are proud to have this technology. Pride of possession is only for publicity. Okay. But how much really you are using is something that makes a difference.
So, Milind, how do you manage the communication to make sure that people respond positively to the change that you keep bringing every now and then?
So, see, on that front, one of the core practice that we have been doing it right from the beginning is, the continuing education programs.
Okay.
Every single day in the morning, the induction that takes place, training that takes place on different subjects, different domains altogether. So that's when in those sessions, first is whenever we want to deploy something, we want to introduce something, we give induction to people, training to people, where the core the course details about the domain and everything else is explained to people. There's a proper training given. Then the whole deployment induction, the planning takes place in introducing this any of these new things which we want to deploy, whether it is if it's a balanced scorecard thing, right? So, like he said, the agentic AIs that we have now been deploying even in the BSc things, where the performance and everything else reads through the whole thing, gives a complete detailed report to that individual. Even when that thing happens, before this thing the deployment takes place, there is a information which is first shared with the individual, the associates, that this is something which is coming up. This is how you can look at your dashboard. This is how you can manage yourself. So those kind of proper induction, training, deployment is what is planned for everything else.
So every single morning we have continuing education program, 9 to 10. Without it, you don't start our work. There is one thing that is non-negotiable. Either you join the firm, you don't join the firm. That's the first condition. Correct? So education is very critical. Number two, that communication is just not one-way communication. It is like you have to be very empathetic at times, okay, and at the same time, sometimes you need to be a little stricter as well. So how do you communicate is more important than what you communicate.
Yeah.
You know, what you say matters more than how you say, right? Sometimes so both are there, but I think it is important to have this communication, as you say. There are a number of ways in which communication happens. One, on the continuing education, monthly meeting, weekly meeting, other town hall things and stuff like that. So, but we have to see that people buy in.
So in the space of any service, in the service-based community or people who are providing services, so same for the legal fraternity, you have those who are very young right now, I would say from law firms perspective, and those who are probably slightly more in terms of number of years they have been, and then there are those who are very larger in size. So what would you say, sir, to those firms who are right now small in number of headcounts they have, but they are fleet-footed, they have more capacity to absorb newer thoughts, that how should they strategize, what would their focus points be when they are looking to develop themselves as the institution in the future, because you are an institution today.
So the way in which we look at strategy, I have done a lot of lectures on strategy, okay, in management schools, in institutions and other things. I'm a lawyer, I'm not an MBA, so I'm a dabba as far as MBA is concerned, like you studied, right? So, but I learned a lot. I think that strategy comes at a very low level, okay. It starts with philosophy. Philosophy and mathematics at an esoteric level are somewhat similar, if not identical. If a base of mathematics are clear, 1 plus 1 answer is clear, 2. If a philosophical base is clear, management decision or decision management is very clear. Okay, I'll do this, I'll not do this, I'll do this. So philosophy and mathematics have to converge. Okay, in ancient times, most of the philosophers are mathematicians and mathematician philosophers. Okay. Now, from philosophy emerges your vision, then the mission, then the goals, then the strategy, then structure. So when you want to structure your organization, you need to have other things in place. You can't say, one fine morning I do this structure and stuff like that. You have to have strategy. The strategy is nothing else but choices. Do this or do that. And all choices in life are made because of the philosophy. Other definition of strategy is a differentiation you create, which differentiation, even if known to others, cannot be copied. See, we do so much of research work, not today, 30 years, 25 years. We put everything in public domain. Okay. It requires philosophy to commitment to share. It requires approach, okay, that there is collaborative. But now, all these things would converge eventually somewhere along the line, and that you feel good. Sometimes you fail, sometimes you succeed. Fine.
So, in this regard, it would say that those who are in starting out the journey, or those who have even progressed ahead in some part of the journey, it's about what is it that's the core of the thought process by which you are running as an organization rather than as an individual. And then everything boils down to strategy, implementation, and continuing that thought in manifestation.
Yeah, I'll just give you one small principle, is that when you want to start a new firm, first focus on what is the purpose of the firm. If your purpose is not clear, you'll be going all over. Your actions will be driven by others rather than others' action driving you. Because you say, ये firm ने किया मैं करता हूँ, ये firm ने किया मैं करता हूँ, okay? And people are in a hurry to grow big, you want to have big thing, etc. That is what is a mindset I've generally seen. Not that everybody is like that, but I believe that purpose is very important. So we created purpose, a statement just for the sake of clarity for everybody, communication, that we are not just commercially oriented law firm. Mm-hmm. So therefore it is not unidimensional firm, it's three-dimensional firm. And first dimension is of course what we enjoy the most, okay, to do most creative, innovative, complex, cross-border transactions and litigation. This is what is our core. If you do not fall within that, you are not a good client for us.
Okay.
Okay. So we don't like a routine kind of thing. We want to do something extremely, because then it requires time. Same client selection process, we say, oh, we want only clients who are either global or aspire to be global. So there could be large companies, all the top companies in the world, Fortune 500 are our clients. But at the same time, we also respect the small 2-people startup who have aspiration to go global. So we did not select our client choosing process based on number. They okay, $1 billion company, $500 million company, $10 billion company, and things like that. We are lawyers. We are not investment bankers. We are not driven by numbers. Correct? Bankers have this because their rewards are directly correlated to the amount of money the big groups are making, right? So medium, large. We say no. We have qualitative criteria to select our clients. You must be either global or you must aspire to be global. If aspiration is there, fee is not a consideration at the moment. We'll help you. We'll find a way to figure out, because most people cannot afford the fees, right? So there are again 2 types of clients. I say clients who are willing to pay the fees but unwilling to, unable to pay.
Nice.
Second class is those who are able to pay but unwilling to pay. So second class, we say go home. Okay. So you have to have very careful selection of client. Then you can dedicate your time. You want to add value. Okay. And that is how you choose clients. So this first part is the complex transaction. Second part is to foster the next generation of socially conscious lawyers. Okay. Because lawyers, we don't want them to be only money-minded or commercial-minded, because we give a lot of things away in 40% research, other kind of social work we do, etc. And so there's a second purpose. We want people who want a holistic approach to life. Okay. Third purpose is to shape the future of law. So what we do is to look to next 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now and look at what new technology will be coming, what will be the new social, political, economic developments that will be taking place, and what will be the future strategic, legal, tax or ethical issue. Based on the premise that future may be uncertain, but it's not unthinkable.
Right.
Got it? So you can think about what's going to happen, but 7, 8 years, any regulatory framework you have to start about 7 years ahead of time. So new technology that will come 7 years after, we have to start thinking of issues today. Otherwise, tsunami of technology comes and everybody is looking around. Bitcoin aa gaya, abhi kya karega, pata nahi, right? So we try to take long shot, 7, 8 years ahead of the technology. So we focus on cyborg, digital twins, or the ambience technologies, photonics, and this and that and all this kind of stuff, right? So that is what is the approach. So if you think ahead of time, trend assessment, forecasting, then you are future ready. Not only you are future ready, but more importantly, we have to make our clients future ready. That is what your contribution. So there is a lot of conversation that goes on as to in what direction companies should move, or clients, what is going to happen to their kind of activity, and what will the issues that, of course, legal, tax, ethical issues are a core, but they form a basis for helping them strategic growth.
So in this technology, I would say technology is like in the DNA of NDA.
Yeah.
So when any firm is looking at technology, how to put technology into their own way of working, it is an enabler that they are bringing on board. So what kind of recommendations would you make when somebody is starting out the journey? That what kind of technologies people focus on, or what is it that from implementation perspective, the barriers people face in implementing it? So how to go about that?
See, there are levels of maturity. Okay, because you may want to have the highly sophisticated technology, but where do you get funding from? Okay. Number 2, even if you have funding, you get it somehow or the other. Are you able to use it? Are you able to find one feature that changes your firm? If you can't, then me too. Okay. So important thing is to be very careful, because technology can be bottomless pit as far as investment is concerned. So you've got to be very carefully managing your risk also. Otherwise, you will be down in possession that showcase technologies, right? What do you call? So that will be one recommendation. Look at what are your problems, what problem you want to solve. At every growth stage, there are different problems. So that would be my recommendation to the newcomers who come.
In fact, like he said, the objective, the purpose, application of needs, this is something that you need to first study. We keep saying that the architecture, deployment, we keep doing it. We keep talking big things. But even today, if you, not only in the legal industry, but even if you talk about the general corporate industry, how many of them must have done the data classification? As simple as data classification, how many of those companies would have really gone through the whole exercise of classifying the data? That itself you'll find in many of the companies missing, because that's going to be the paramount, the basing, the stepping stone when the DPDP Act and everything else is going to come out, right? So what he said was so rightly that unless and until you don't find out, identify the purpose, objective of why you want, what is going to be your information architecture,
Right.
there is no point in just going ahead and simply deploying the technology for the sake of doing it,
But does this also bring a thought that when you are looking at, because this obviously brings a question that how do you evaluate a technology? So would it be right to ask this question that somebody who's an expert in technology,
Correct.
do you collaborate with someone like that, or do you try to absorb, probably build a structure within the firm before you go to somebody and buy technology? So looking at technology as a return on investment, or looking at technology as an investment on returns?
If I may just quickly, there are two things. We don't look at return on investment. We look at return of excitement.
Okay.
ROE is our definition, right? We think, are we feeling good and really we need this or not? So first is an inner gut feel that drives us. Second thing that, for example, for us also it's taken a long road to build a team with AI experts, with medical surgeons, other people, etc. So then you are able to get views from different people. We should do it or we should not do it. Okay. How good technology is, how good it is not. And then what value it is going to bring. And just remember, value is a matter of perception. Price is a function of demand and supply. So we look at value it brings. It could be tangible value, it could be intangible value. Okay. And I think as you're talking about law firms, for example, one thing is more likely to happen, and that is billable mindset will go. Clients will come with documents ready. Okay, agentic AI is going to eat a lot of your work. Okay, so how do you manage yourself in the new world of technology? And as you were asking in the beginning, that this technology, what does it do? It is going to make law firms smaller and smaller. Okay, but use of technology more and more. I honestly tell you, until few years ago, I used to have 4 juniors to brief me on a matter. Today the role is reversed. I prepare document and tell them, please check accuracy of this document, check all the case laws, check other kind of things, and tell me that this is accurate or not. So the role which they used to play, I am playing the role. Okay, I know prompt engineering. Prompt engineering is the greatest art that we are going to be learning.
Okay.
And that comes along with experience. You can extract information, but getting knowledge out of it and getting on a timely basis and with wisdom, the roles are reversing. So young kids are very good at technology. So they are good at information retrieval. If I want information, he will immediately give. Somewhat senior people are good at knowledge. Okay. The more experienced people are good at wisdom. So prompt engineering is very much correlated to wisdom part of it. Because what do you want to get? And then, as I mentioned, you combine wisdom with creativity. Okay, so I feel younger than anybody else in the firm today.
this gives me, this brings a thought to my mind. And here we are sitting at Imaginarium, and I am imagining that the way IT-enabled services took nation by storm
Yeah.
many years ago, maybe around, I think, 2 decades ago. Today, do you see the global legal capability centers is going to be the backbone of the law firms and the legal departments in the companies in the years to come?
See, GCC is part of life anyway.
Yeah.
Correct. Global Capability Center. But they are for a number of different reasons, At one time it was for services and all that thing. Now robots will eat your cake away, I remember in one Swiss factory I went some years ago, there are 30 or 40 people working. I went recently, there are only one. Okay. Robotics is going to be very much part of, as I showed on the my presentation some time ago, of course people are not able to see that, is that AI combined with robotics, okay, is going to be tremendously, impact creating. Okay. I often say that agentic AI, the cognitive capabilities of AI today has almost not only equal but exceeded human capabilities. So very soon you don't need a brain. Okay, now the function that you don't need will also create its own problem. In 200 years you don't need a brain. So babies will be born without brain. Like when monkeys were born, they were with tails, because tail told them, okay, weather is going to be like this, there is some danger here. They did not need tails, so tail went away. So babies will be born without brain. So I think we are all brainless people. That's all. In that domain.
So, now, when we see the capability of a human being and an AI, we are talking about a lot of things which are right now looks like a future, but at the heart of it is data. Data is measurement, it's capture, it's filtering, it's segmentation, etc., etc. So, what is the role that you see happening of a human being, or what is it from the technology perspective? Because a lot of law firms today, and even in general, you do not see that much importance being given to data as far as its proper structured saving, proper structured security is concerned. So how those...
Okay, let me react to that and maybe you can react to that. What is it that can store highest amount of data? Tell me. Where is highest data? DNA.
Yeah.
So future data centers will be in the DNA, small thing, not big ones. Okay. So the whole thing is that data would be there, but data would be captured by machine, analyzed by machine, and also stored in the machine. So that would be my take on data,
Okay.
So all the data centers and others, in 10 years time, we'll have to revisit that. At the moment, it is fine. So short to medium term.
So basically, he's absolutely right. Every firm will have to look into itself how the data has been. How do you give? What is the data that is available?
Okay.
Every firm will have to build the technology, customize it depending upon what their core expertise is.
Okay.
Because slowly, gone are those days when we always used to go for the off-the-shelf kind of products, right? Now everyone with the birth of AI and everything else, the AI will also revolve around what data you have, what data you can feed to the AI. You even spoke about security. How many of the firms are even simultaneously taking care of the security along with the data?
Right.
Because that has also become very paramount.
Yeah.
It's very crucial because your data, when it came to data privacy, your confidentiality, your security, all these things are now going to have tremendous value in future, because the more and more data is going to come into your limelight, the more and more security you'll have to worry about.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You have to be concerned about how you're going to secure that data. And that's exactly, you'll have to start looking within the firm itself. And all this part that we are talking about, data classification, the data that is getting generated, the information architecture is what will have the more, you have to give more importance to play around with to build the next level of databases and all those kind of stuff. You know.
So in this context, like from the eyes of a lawyer or somebody who's running a law firm or somebody who is a general counsel, what are the measures or what are the actors that a person can keep in mind when you're selecting a technology or when you're looking at 5 years plan, that this is what we should do in 5 years so that we get where we want to get?
See, the way in which I look at, again, as we move forward, there will be more work done in-house. Okay. You will come to us for corrective surgery. Okay. And revalidation. You don't need us, really speaking, for churning out a document, 100 page, 200. All that will be done. You will come to us and say, is this okay? Same way that's going to happen with medical profession. People will go with other reports. But you say this, and then there will be judgmental calls because it will throw up options as to, oh, I am in a crisis situation, I do this, I do that. AI will also give you guide, but at the same time, people want to revalidate what AI is saying is right or not. So we will be pushed to do higher level job and regular routine, anything that is repetitive would be done in-house. And therefore, we run a program called client enablement process. We enable you to do whatever you can. So why do you need to build 1,000 people law firm? 1,000 people will be employed by the people if they want to. But you stay to your core as to what is your core specialty, what is your core strength, and that is where can add value. Clients will be willing to pay more price than churning out the whole document just to make one cut. Okay, this clause, change it, this clause you change it, this clause you change it. And I charge the same amount of fee, I will charge 500 hours.
Yeah, this is, as the future grows on us, and I'm saying future grows on us because the seeds are planted today. So,
how has technology helped the firms and how it can help the firms in dealing with the problem of attrition, knowledge management? Today we see at a lot of firms that one partner leaves and the whole firm is suddenly into a chaos and there is a lot of instability, and we've seen the cases, we have read it all over the news that a partner left with a team of 50 associates and now the firm is about to wind up.
Yeah.
How do we...
I told you about that. We have our own equivalent of ChatGPT internal, okay, so which is called NIDA, NDA, and in between AI. So the whole way in which it is designed is that we are able to leverage the experience and knowledge of the people currently working in the firm and people who left. Okay, people who left. All their emails, advice, everything is integrated into our own internal NIDA. So it is built on ChatGPT plus other platforms, whatever it is integrated platform. So we are able to combine knowledge that you get from ChatGPT, etc. But in addition, our own internal knowledge, which is not available to the public, we can integrate that and answers can be given in a fraction of a second, So the way in which we look at is that attrition is a part of life. Okay, people come, people leave.
right.
Traditionally, I used to lose sleep. I sleep more peacefully sometimes. I'm not saying always. I respect my people, I love my people and all. I'm just telling. But if somebody has to leave, what happens is, are you reducing your cost? Because many times, people are overpriced. You can't drive them away. Okay. But if they leave their own, be happy about it. If they stay with you, be even happier about it. Correct. So ultimately, we don't need to worry about it. In fact, that is where AI is going to make a difference. That when people leave, what happens? You're worried about their experience going, okay, their knowledge going, information going, okay, and whereas they are not supposed to use information, confidential thing, and all that thing that is there, that is with you. right? You have more powerful engine to store your experience and information in AI. So you can use that, and sometimes whatever happens, happens for good. That's what the philosophy of country has been. That everything that happens, happens for good. Howsoever bad looking or worse looking it may be, it is for good. Think like that. So if you have philosophical approach, you will be happy. And we are not saying that we don't care for people. In fact, it will allow you to care for people a little more, because when somebody leaves, you also learn lessons. Oh, I should have done this. Oh, I should not have done that. Okay. Why did somebody leave? Correct. So it allows you, it teaches you lessons as well. So you combine the ethos of a river where talent will come and go. Water will come, but new fresh talent will come. With AI, with technology, you can create experience of 15-year people in 5 years. So we'll have to see, and as I mentioned that you transfer, you give your best to your people. Okay? You give your experience, you make them lifetime. By and large, they will be emotionally connected. It give you more, AI will give you more time to spend more time with the people. Okay, guide them, in the philosophy of life, betterment of life. So it's fine. So I don't think one needs to worry too much about it. Yeah, you are concerned about it, but not worried about it.
Okay, that's a very valid point actually. So, but now we talk about a little, say about how a firm which does not has this capability of technology-enabled processes in it right now, and it wants to adapt to technology-enabled processes. So one of the things which comes to my mind to do something like that is that you have an agency, you figure out people to collaborate with, but there's also a specific role that you start creating inside the firm, which is of a data engineer or a data analyst, which is not actually directly visible today, because law firms, lawyers, associates, then an admin. So do you see in your experience such kind of roles coming out, and law firms evolving, in-house legal evolving to accept this kind of a structure?
See, ultimately it all comes down to teamwork. My philosophy and vision is nothing unless somebody implements that. His technology is nothing but somebody else in PhD in AI tells, this is the future. This is where we should work. Okay. There is an angle of societal thing, right? So when you have combination of different talents, and it is strong, commonly said, right? Infosys' success was because of 5 different talent came together. Now, if it were to be the same type of talent, they would not have grown. Okay. So similarly, you need diversity of all kind. I'm not talking gender diversity alone. That also is needed. Diversity. Some people are dumb people, also are good people.
Okay.
Because they will ask you dumb questions, and those are become the smartest questions in future. Somebody says, okay, there would be driverless car. 20, 30 years ago, somebody said, you say it's a dumb question. Today, he's most smart. So never underestimate anybody. Nobody is low, nobody is high. Everybody is same in many ways, and find what the best in them. So have empathy for them and respect them. Don't ridicule anybody.
Milind, this question I'll put to you. So when, as the CTO of a firm which is looking at data, which is looking at opinions, consultancy, etc., you are the voice of technology. You're the one who is putting in how technology can be put in place to enable all that to be created, to be analyzed, and then finally connect people together. So, in your experience, what would you recommend to somebody who's wanting to implement such a technology in their firm? That what kind of map should they draw for themselves? And what kind of patience they should have to get that map implemented?
Okay, so first thing I would just like to correct over here the earlier one also that you mentioned, that CTO of CTOs. It's nothing like that. It's like a CTO of CTOs. Like I said, it's nothing but a teamwork. That's the first thing. We do say there is always a designation or something which is given to that person, and then you start looking at that person, and that person is the one who's doing everything. It's nothing like that. It's actually a team who's been doing it. It's a team who's been working it. A CTO is nobody if he doesn't have the whole proper team in place. A developer, a UX designer, programmer. Obviously now the roles are all changing because of AI and all that stuff. But yeah, you need the whole team for deploying certain things. Like we all discussed, for any new firm, when they want to go about, the first lesson of digital transformation is you need to see whether do you have, first of all, somebody in-house. That's what they teach first. You have somebody in-house, you identify, you start going about it. If you don't have a proper experienced talent in-house, then you have to see outside. Some external person who can be the guiding star for you to go ahead and deploy it. And then if you have somebody in-house, which is obviously the first rule of it, then you need to start building the team. And like he said, you need to see the team, the members have to be from different fields, to give you that experience, who can then understand what is your information architecture, how do you mold it, which is the area where the AI can play a better role, how soon you can, which are the first data points that you can touch upon, right? Low hanging fruits that you can first look at it and then start deploying it. And how then you can develop a platform which can be something where it should be a plug and play concept. You cannot have something deployed which can be a permanent stuff, right? And how do you do that? So for developing all these things, you need to look at all these different aspects to go ahead and then deploy the whole roadmap.
And in your experience, what kind of time frames are we looking at when people think about technology and adoption of technology?
The moment you start looking at the technology, see, the thing is, like you said earlier, in case of the way the speed at which and the velocity at which the things are moving at,
right.
Building a team itself, it's not something that AI can help you in getting things that speed up the whole process. But building the team, finding the right person, that is not something that can happen in 3 months time, 6 months time, 1 year time. It can take, it all depends upon when you find the right person, the right talent in getting the things deployed. There are certain things which you can speed up those things, but then finding the right talent is something that you need to identify, you need to make sure. So it's a process that you have to go through, which can be 9 months, 1 year, 2 year, but first is having the right person, understanding whether you have talent, whether you need to outsource talent, on what is the information architecture to which you need to address things. That is something that needs to be identified first.
So when you were doing this, obviously you would have had to have buy-in from all the stakeholders, and
correct.
You went. So how did it go about? Did you go about saying that you created a map and you said, okay, this is what we are going to do. You tracked it. You kept data of each of those activities that was being done.
Absolutely.
Technology became manifested by people started working on it. So is this how it goes?
Absolutely. So you need to first have a proper roadmap to what you are doing, and then identify stuff. Then there will be multiple things which will keep coming up. Like, Nishith Bhai used to keep saying that identifying an engineer, getting an engineer and then getting things done is very easy.
Okay.
Why don't we start training people even in-house? Identify somebody you can learn, who has the inclination to learn.
Okay.
And then if you can train him, right? A person who knows your internal stuff is a much better person than having somebody outside, So that is something that you need to plan the whole roadmap, in getting certain things, the digital roadmap in getting things implemented.
So just to add to what Milind said,
right.
We believe a philosophy is that every ordinary person can do extraordinary job.
Correct.
Okay. And extraordinary person apparently can be a disaster. Okay. So it is important to understand that, you have to have reasonable talent, but nurture that well. Okay. And in fact, in technology world, what happened, even our driver or chauffeur or, we trained him to do computer repairing.
Okay.
He does telecom wiring. He knows all where the wire is here and where the wire is better than the electrician. Okay, we train them because drivers come, they poor fellows sit whole day in downstairs. Some people will smoke cigarettes, some people will play jugaad, somebody will sit doing nothing, sleep. Now, when we started doing this, the drivers felt, oh, I become an engineer. Sala mein to saab ban gaya. The pride that was instilled was so much. So they are all working with us for 30 years, 35 years. And they do many of this technological support work.
Right.
You don't need external people. Similarly, as I mentioned that, you have to sometimes identify talent, get them to your fold. Like, how did we get medical surgeon to our fold, right? In 2000, when .com bust happened and I was supposed to be in World Trade Center around that time, 21 as well. And then we found that from .com and e-commerce and all that, focus will move to biometrics. So we needed somebody who understands bio, and we identified pharma healthcare as a major practice area. So we identified surgeon who was top ranking, silver medalist or like that. I had to speak with him, persuade him to change career. You can imagine what happens, right? We had electronics engineer turn lawyer, we other people turn lawyer. It takes time. It doesn't. Then he does 3 years. So 4 to 5 years was a pregnancy time, right? Not 9 months. So we had to be patient. We had to invest in him. We have to pay salaries when nothing is delivered. And then to develop, after finishing his law, then he starts developing the practice. It took another 7, 8 years. So it took 12, 15 years by the time the practice, now the practice has grown. We are on the top of the world, right? Whether it's pharma, healthcare, about 16, 20 of the top 20 pharma companies we work with, or all the different technologies. But it was a process of 5, 6 years to nurture. You try to find ready-made talent, it's a very difficult. But then now emotional connect is so high. We are working for 20, 22 years now.
Right. So small steps first. Then
Yeah, it happens. But you have to invest time, money, energy, a lot of flack sometimes you get. Why are we paying so much somebody who is, it's investment time, it's not loss.
Some more issues that I would like you to throw light upon. One is that we are seeing that you also mentioned that the firms, the in-house departments are now will be going to law firms for specialist queries. They will not be. They'll be doing a lot of run-of-the-mill work, contract generation, and other things internally, and they will go to law firms for specialist queries. So, how do you see law firms and in-house departments collaborating on the portals? And what kind of data security measures law firms will have to provide? So see, I'm coming here with a background that today there is this DPDP Act, and all of them are, all the regulators, be it RBI, be it, any other ministry, telecom ministry, or energy ministry, or law ministry, all of them are talking about data privacy regulations which are applicable for their particular industry sector.
So I think our role will be to advise, guide, and give strategic advice on things, right? Unlike earlier days, data will be all stored by company itself. So, I would be concerned with select data. Okay. But rest of it is all, I'm enabling company to do in-house.
Okay.
So you keep everything, you invest in the security.
Enabling some of your clients to implement technology.
Yeah, definitely. We advise them and we also give them guidance as to this is what you need to. We give a framework.
On the legal tech also?
Broadly, yes. I think Milind would tell you that, So the idea is that, we try to help them that this is the ethical issue, this is the framework that you need to understand, how to use, all that kind of, after you give guidance and framework, then better they implement rather than I implement.
Because data fiduciary is one term which is now being used very, very prominently. That how the data is being stored, how the data is being retrieved, and how it is being shared between even when it's a sensitive work that is being done. So,
In fact, if you look at the current state, gone are those days when the client hardly used to bother how the data is being managed by the legal firms and all that stuff. In today's age, I mean, recent the vendor audits and all the stuff that we have to get into, right? VAPT audits with the client. The client doesn't onboard a firm without doing the VAPT audit.
Okay.
And which is now slowly getting mandatory for not only the big corporates but even the small firms. They do not forget the legal firms, but even the other general vendors that they have, heard they don't onboard them till they do the VAPT audit. In the VAPT audit, like we said, forget how we are managing the data. But let's say, for example, we are interacting with the government authorities. And if there is an intermediary who's appointed in getting certain things executed, they also want to know how the intermediary is handling the data. So that's where our role comes, where we have to brief that intermediary also, whether you are using a two-factor authentication or not. What is the duration on which you are keeping the data with you? Are you later on destroying the data or not? Or is it returned back to the client? So all these things are now become mandatory. It's no more
option.
An option left for anybody, which every firm has to exercise it. And this is exactly where we go back to what he said. When you are setting up a law firm, the whole objective, the purpose has to be clear, because you are getting into something which is, it's a big domain. It's not something which was like setting up a law firm and giving the client services, doing big billings and then earning the revenue. You have to now follow all these your governance, compliance norms and everything else which for the clients which you are going to onboard.
Yeah. So I think we are in for good time. As law firm, I think we'll work less and make more. Okay. Only thing is we work less, but quantitatively we work less. But if we work qualitatively high, it's more beneficial than today's model. So we're in for good time. I think that's the way I would look at it. And I think those lawyers who are adept to technology and creatively use it will do exponential job. But those who use it as tool for doing repetitive work, probably it will be a different ballgame.
Okay.
So that's where it is.
So it was a fabulous conversation with you both, sir. And it's been a learning experience. Just sitting in this beautiful place is a learning experience in itself, and having to have this conversation with you, of course, is a wonderful experience. So thank you so much for sharing your time with us today and your thoughts. I'm sure that our audience would not only gain from it, but learn from it and probably assimilate it as well in the times to come. Because again, seeds in the present will grow in the future. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for a wonderful conversation. And
Thanks a lot.
thank you, Milind.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you so much for taking us around. It is a beautiful campus and it's
lovely
an inspiration in itself.
No, it's our pleasure. We loved having you over here.